Welcome back, nerds, to another episode of Judging Nerd Culture. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jess.
And today we're talking about Elden Ring. The game I just bought and I'm gonna sink hours and hours and hours and hours into as soon as possible.
And the only Souls-like game that I might like.
Yeah, you've played it for more than a half hour and you didn't hate it. That is an incredible sign.
And before we jump into our subject of the day, let's head on over to Alfredo Scoops with the latest nerdly news.
Thank you, Jessica. It is Alfredo Scoops here with the nerdly news. So, in this week in Nerd Newsdom, there is some stuff happening in the crypto world. So, Polygon, one of the more popular cryptocurrencies currently, is having a bit of a popularity surge as it has come out as one of the more energy efficient cryptocurrencies, being up to 1,000 times more efficient energy wise than other Ethereum based cryptocurrencies. Along with this bit of crypto news, there is news of Ukraine, which has been using cryptocurrencies in order to fundraise for the war efforts with what's going on there currently. And the primary thing that they're trying to use is the USDT Tether token, which is a token that is linked one-to-one to the US dollar, although apparently with the request that has been put in through Ukraine for all these tokens is actually increased in value. So the token, which is supposed to match the US dollar one for one, is worth a little more than $1 currently. Crypto aside and unfortunate wars aside, there's some more fun news coming out of Hollywood with Daniel Radcliffe. In case anyone hasn't heard, Daniel Radcliffe is going to be playing Weird Al Yankovic in a Weird Al biopic. He is stated to be exploring every aspect and facet of Weird Al's life, including the seedy underbelly. In other nerd news, we have good news for gamers, as the Steam Deck has become limitedly available for some. There are 3 price points of Steam Deck currently: a $399 bundle, which allows you to have a Steam Deck with 68 gigs of storage available, a $529 version with 256 gigs available, and a $649 version with 512 gigs of internal memory or storage, Along with the increased storage, the higher price point will have an anti-glare screen allowing you to play outside without that harmful rays of the sun getting in your way. Continuing our coverage of the Steam Deck, we have seen videos released of Elden Ring playing at 45 FPS on the Steam Deck and has been added to the Steam Deck's verified games list, along with many other AAA titles, proving that the Steam Deck is going to be kind of a big deal for anyone who likes to take their games on the road. Along with all this good news about the Steam Deck, we have Valve CEO Gabe Newell, who publicly stated they are very open to including Microsoft's Game Pass for PC onto the Steam system, or Steam ecosystem, if you will. This would be a huge, huge thing, as they would allow anyone who's not using a Microsoft system, as the Linux as the SteamOS is a Linux-based system, making it possible for anyone to play Game Pass games on whatever system they want, really. It would be a massive deal, and it's currently been talked about a few times between Microsoft and Valve, but it's still pretty early, so don't hold your breath. Just hope. All right, folks, thanks for listening, and back to you, Jessica.
All right, so are we ready to get into Elden Ring?
We sure are.
All right. It is the Game Award winner for most anticipated game of the year.
And oh boy, did I anticipate this game. Years, I would say.
Yeah.
And it has not disappointed yet. Admittedly, I'm only like 6 hours in and have not left the starting zone.
Well, if I know anything about these games, I know that every little corner is filled with little bits of, whether it be lore or loot, ghosts or random people to talk to. You can spend hours in one little section, still trying to find every little egg that you can and there will still be more when you leave.
Indeed. Like I said, have only just started really, and have maintained. I've gotten no further than the first boss. I believe his name is, God,
Merrick?
no, not Merrick. Something with an M.
Margit.
Yeah, Margit. What a name. Yeah, I've been playing for a few hours now, and I've only just recently defeated Margit, the first boss in Stonewell Castle. I think Stormfell Castle. And the reason it's taken so long is because I've just been fucking around like the entire time. Every inch of this place, I've just been exploring, trying to find caves and dungeons and getting lost in those. It is so fucking fun. And that's always been the thing that I've liked most about Dark Souls games, is being able to just kind of explore in a way that really feels like you're uncovering a little secret, a little hidden path, a little something just for you. And with Elden Ring, it's that same feeling, except huge, because there's so much shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've been having a genuine hoot. Pretty sure I'm going to be extremely over-leveled in no time.
Well, let's hope.
Let's hope.
The way I've been playing, because, we have your opinion and your skill level. You love these games. You've played them forever. I, on the other hand, if you've been listening to us long enough, do not like Dark Souls-like games are fine. The game Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I have a hard time with. I'm not gonna go into it right now, but I think the lore is fantastic and everything. But point is, I'm new and fresh to actually playing the games, and Elden Ring is the first one that I have pretty much enjoyed for the most part. So a veteran Bloodborne, Dark Souls veteran, and the really green, fresh view of things. I lost my train of thought.
Alright, so I want to talk to you, since you're newer to, not really new, but this is your first time delving into it, really.
Mm-hmm.
You've played before, but you've never actually, gone around and explored. I've actually watched you play for a little bit, and this is the first time I've seen you, decide, oh, what's that over there, and decide to go to it and see what's going on.
Yes.
For no reason other than just you saw it and wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to talk to you about how it feels different in terms of exploration for you, compared to other Dark Souls, other From Software games. And also, I want to talk to you about the combat, because Dark Souls is known for being exceptionally difficult and a huge pain in the ass. And you've also experienced this, and I believe you just did not continue after your first 30 minutes of Bloodborne.
Yes, I have not ever played it again. It doesn't help that in very specific things, I have quite a bad temper.
Yes, but that being said, I want to see how the combat feels different, if at all, to you. Mm-hmm. And lastly, just generally how you feel about the slight change in style and aesthetic to the world in which Elden Ring is more focused in. Because while it is still, everything's dead and trying to kill you, it's weirdly beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot more colorful. Mm-hmm. Bloodborne and Dark Souls, I do like the aesthetic, and I like what they're trying to do, and I think they do it very well. But Elden Ring does have hope. It feels like when you play Dark Souls and Bloodborne, everything is grays, blacks. There's some color there, but it to make you feel dread, because that's the kind of atmosphere, those worlds are seeped in. Elden Ring, though, because it has, you could hop on your goat, torrent. You can hop on your faithful steed and run across this beautiful open green field with castles in the background and, mountains and little houses, and it's beautiful. And it's a little more hopeful, and it's a little more, I don't know, it's just like, instead of complete dread and complete frustration and stress, it has a little bit of like, hey, everybody here might be dying and things might be really bad, but look how beautiful this world is. There's hope yet that we could save it. So I think that's a little bit what kept me playing.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that, and a big part of how that affects the game, in a very positive way, is that all of the other games, Bloodborne less so because it's more Victorian elder god bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I love Victorian era.
Yeah, they it was there for you, but they really
they
just
were
did
so
you dirty.
close. They were so close. I hate being confused, and was always confused playing that game.
Bloodborne, more than any other of the Souls games, has a guy around every corner looking to stab you right in the head.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Elden Ring, every game in the Souls series, specifically the Souls 1, 2, and 3, the idea is you're in an age of fire, you're leading towards the dark, and you, as the undead chosen for whatever reason, are meant to reignite the Age of Flame and keep life going. But as you play through, the only thing that inspires you to do that is the fact that you're still alive and pushing forward. But as you look around, there's very little reason to actually keep the world alive, because nothing in the world seems worth saving. There's a few NPCs and a few things that's like nice to have, and you want to protect those few things, but it's really very bleak, and there's not a lot to motivate you. Meanwhile, in Elden Ring, it seems like it's having a very similar, like, the world is crumbling, the Elden Ring is shattered, you have to put it back together and save the world, essentially. And yeah, there's undead and monsters and all this other shit going on, but none of it feels like the last breath of a dying world. It feels like a world fighting to survive. And it's such a beautiful, vast world. It's like, I want to save this. Yeah. I want that tree to not die.
Yeah, and like I really do understand the appeal of the other games. I just, I have a different personality, and, there's people who only play Stardew Valley, or there's only people who play, like, Rated E for Everybody games. Like, it's okay, it's fine. You just have your different personalities, like, different types of games, and apparently, my personality would, for some reason, rather play Outlast than, than Bloodborne.
Which is...
who knows?
How is that?
I wonder if we wrote down a list of our favorite games or games that we refuse to play, gave them to a therapist. I wonder if they could tell us what our baggage was.
That'll be a fun game to play. Yeah, I get that. Like, just with Outlast games and whatnot, it's, I don't know, it is an adventure, like a thrill of running away, just something constantly happening. Dark Souls is not edge of your seat adventure. It's all right, here's another guy in a big suit of armor, gonna slowly walk around him. I'm gonna take my time. It's gonna be methodical and planned. I'm gonna die 100 times here, so I know it. Oh, and our guest star has made it onto the scene. Get out of here, you punk.
What a diva. And she is gone.
Yeah, so it makes sense that you would be more into something like Outlast than Elden Ring if you like that sort of persistent adventure, high octane energy. Because Dark Souls, I mean, there are moments where you go into a boss fight or you're swarmed by enemies and your heart rate goes up. You're like, oh fuck, gotta move.
Yeah.
And that's great and all, but the majority of the game is really slow paced, methodical, figuring out your next step, figuring out where all of the enemies are, figuring out how you can get past this archer so you can kill them so you can then take out the guys below.
So in a way, would you say it's definitely more a strategy game?
In a weird way, it's kind of a strategy game. An action strategy, I guess. But I've seen you play like the Uncharted series before, and you've really enjoyed that. I don't like the Uncharted series. I think it's fun to watch. I don't like playing them.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to play because it's, if you want a mindless game to run around and do fun adventures, don't think too much about the plot because it's kind of sad. And Nathan Drake is actually kind of the bad guy, but it's whatever.
Hey, you can't play an Indiana Jones ripoff and think you're the good guy. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But no, I just mean that that game isn't intentionally made to be an action movie, but in the form of a video game. So it's action, action, action. And I feel like that's the same with Outlast, and that's where it really separates itself from games like Dark Souls. And I'm not sure where I was going in that, but I think that is one of the major differences between our two games. Our game preferences. Because I do like to take it slow. I like to make sure everything is perfect.
Yeah. There are games that I like to, collect everything, and take it a little slower.
Jack and Daxter.
But, it's just feels like I am stuck in a Victorian hellscape. And I understand that's the point. And they do a very good job of immersing you and making you feel that dread because you never know what's going to happen or where you're going or what's happening.
Yeah. I think that's yes.
And I don't mind a game where you have to figure out where to go, or you have to figure out more of the plot through other means than, cutscenes and everything. It's just that I have a hard time with this one. I don't know why.
It's fair. I have a question for you. You think you're more motivated in real life by success and reward or by spite? just out of curiosity.
Well, I always like success. Everything I do is to get more money. No.
Honesty. You gotta love that.
But honestly, I don't know, kind of reward. There are certain things that I suppose I have done out of spite, or continue to do out of spite, but nothing date you out of spite, marry you out of spite. Take that, world. Gosh, gal darn it. You son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. I forgot what I was going to say. Yes. Reward. Yep.
Yeah. and that makes sense.
I think that it's mainly reward. There are things, obviously, in my life I do not expecting a reward, but you do kind of reward yourself in a way. Like, giving a gift to someone makes you feel good, so that's the reward, you know? Reward does outweigh spite. So maybe you're right.
and the thing is, don't get me wrong, like you said, no one's 100% any one thing. I do love myself a good pat on the back, reward, whatever, that acknowledgement of success. But I would put my life on the line for spite. And
so what would you say your seventh deadly your deadly sin is? It's a new one. It's the 8th one. Spite.
My deadliest of sin, spite. But I think that really explains sort of the direction that we have gone in our game preferences, because we both enjoyed games that are somewhere in the middle, but your games of more persistent action are very much reward, success. You always feel like you are the hero of your story. Jack and Daxter, you literally are a chosen one sent back through time.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, you're a dead thing who happens to not be dead enough.
Well, Outlast, you're not really the hero of the story. You do die.
I mean, yeah, but you're the main character. You feel like this
Yeah.
guy could survive.
Fair enough.
And and also they're the good guy. They're the hero.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a guy in Dark Souls and the other games.
Yeah, you can still get reward from being just the guy, though.
I understand, and that's true. I'm just saying that it seems like Bloodborne and Dark Souls and Sekiro, the reason you keep fighting the boss isn't because you want the rush of success. It's because you're doing it out of spite because this thing has killed you 6 or 7 times, and you're willing to keep dying for the next 30 minutes of your life in order to win, just out of spite.
See, I would have to take a break. I'd get so mad, and then I would, take a few weeks or a few months off of this game and go back into it. Oh, I'm ready to play it again, and it would load up at this boss fight, and I would just go, nope, and turn it off again. Turning the game, not playing the game in spite of the game, I guess. I turn the game off in spite. You keep the game on in spite.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good sort of unraveling of kind of our direction with games and how we've how we interact with them and how we feel about them. And the interesting thing is that
Top 3 games. Hurry, go.
Top 3 games. All right. Mass Effect, the series.
That's already 3.
Portal,
Okay.
the original. Fucking love that game so much. And number 3, suck me. Honestly,
That's a fun game.
Bloodborne. It's my favorite.
All right.
It might be Elden Ring after this, but currently it's Bloodborne.
Jack and Daxter, Senua, and I want to say God of War, but I think it might be Outlast.
Ooh.
Outlast or Dead Space, just because they have a special place in my heart as a young kid.
Good choices.
Yeah.
But, alright, so here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've sort of acknowledged, some of this, our preferences and whatnot, but since we're both actually, surprisingly enough, enjoying Elden Ring, I feel like it sort of takes a different stance than the other Souls games without going too far in the other direction either. And I think that has to do with, despite the fact that there isn't really a whole lot of plot by any means, it's still a From Software game, there is still these new characters, Melinda and all this other stuff, who just randomly show up in ways that seem almost scripted to be like, hey, we've been testing you. We think you might be the one to do this thing. We believe in you. They make you feel like a hero, more so than any of the other Souls games.
Are you saying I just like to feel important?
Yes.
It's true.
But no, I think that goes a long way in making you feel like you're the actual main character of your game, which is important for a lot of people. And I think it's something that the other Souls games definitely did not do as much of. So that has really changed the entire atmosphere. Between the world looking more like something you want to save and you feeling like the person who's meant to save it, I feel like it's a far more inviting atmosphere.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We've talked a lot about the shift in tone and aesthetic, but I want to talk about the combat for a moment, because the combat and the difficulty of the Souls franchise, the Soulsborne games, has always been part of what makes it what it is. It is a difficult game series meant to make you feel like you're having a hard time, and meant to be something that you have to get good for. You have to, whatever. And I really enjoy the combat in all of the games, and they've all changed a little bit between just the cadence and the speed of each attack to the way you actually interact with the enemy, between just back to face to face, walk around to run around, strike, do all the other stuff. It has changed in every single game a little bit. Inclusions of magic, changes to the magic systems, but generally speaking, they've always stayed very, tit for tat. You attack, they attack. That rhythm of fighting, and
You said tit. Okay.
So I was wondering how the combat. I was wondering.
I'm still laughing at tit. Okay, sorry.
So I was wondering how you feel that the current status of the combat feels for you. Is it better, worse, the same? Like, are you having more fun actually fighting and playing the game for its core mechanic?
I am having fun. I haven't played the Bloodborne or Dark Souls in a long time now. But what I can remember, it does, I think, feel the same. Or at least very similar. Like there's still a lot of dodging, a lot of blocking. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is it Sekiro that does a lot of parrying, or is it...
Sekiro is parry focused.
Okay. But yeah, there is parry in this as in Elden Ring as well, but it does feel similar to the other ones besides Sekiro. That one I have played a little bit of that one. Again, not very much, but it definitely a lot different than this one. Yeah, the combat is not super difficult. There's, your heavy swing, your heavy attack, light attack, shield, kind of like a special attack. You can double fist, you can one fist it. It is pretty simple, So I think that is helpful for beginners who are going into it. People who, quote unquote, don't like a lot of buttons, don't like a lot of, special skills or that sort of thing. I'm sure later on with all the different, spells that you can do, you will have to do a little bit more configuring with the buttons. However, it's pretty fun. I haven't had any big problems with it. The game itself feels different than the darker, gloomier games, which is nice, but I never really had a lot of trouble with the fighting in the other games. It was just I think maybe the level ratio between the bad guys and yourself, or just something about it, the close quarters in like Bloodborne, whereas it's an open field or a castle in Elden Ring, and you have a lot more space to dodge. You have a lot more space to run around. You can get on your goat and freaking slice them from your goat, which is really nice as well. A little difficult. I'm still getting the hang of that, but yeah, I think the combat mechanics are decent. They're not complicated. The fighting is fun. It's not super difficult, but not like so simple as like mash A the whole time, which that would be super boring. So that it's nice that it's got that middle ground. And some of the bad guys, some of the enemies, I don't know why I feel like a kid if I call them bad guys. Some of the enemies are a little tougher, but not so bad that it makes the game not fun to play. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you go into different areas, the enemies are a higher rank or they're harder to beat, so it makes it more difficult. Hence why you should probably do what you do and stay in one area until you've leveled up pretty far before you start exploring too far and biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah, but you also haven't really died much.
Thank God I have a goat. That is all I have to say.
Goat for goat. So here's the thing that I've noted with in terms of difficulty and whatnot for the game. So mechanically, you're right. It is not super dissimilar from other Dark Souls games, especially Dark Souls 3. the cadence, the speed of the attacks and the combat is pretty much identical, in my opinion, to Dark Souls 3. They've added a couple things like a shield counter where you just take a hit them back. It's whatever. Very useful for newer players if they don't know how to do the parrying system, or even for older players because it's actually a very effective, tool. But that being said, not a whole lot of differences between that and the older systems. Even the magic is more or less similar, really just kind of reskinned. The thing that really makes it different, in terms of the way the fighting feels, is the mobility. The fact that it's an open world and you can get on your go and run the fuck away. And also get on your go, run in, hit someone once, see how much damage that does, and decide if you're able to actually do this thing. You're able to really survey what's going on and decide what you're doing better. I was watching you play for a while, and I saw you go into an area, you hit this thing a couple times, you're like, maybe I could do this. You got down, you did a few back and forth, tit for tat, as you will, attacks, and then decided, nope, mistakes, and you ran away. And that is what makes Elden Ring, in its own way, an easier game, because you can choose when to take on a challenge, and you can take it on when you're ready for it. And I think that makes a huge difference compared to like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, where there are multiple paths, but you're gonna hit that wall in any direction. You're gonna hit it eventually. And with Elden Ring, you don't have to. If you hit that wall of this enemy is too much for me, you can literally just go in a different direction, find a different enemy. There's always another dungeon. There's always another group of wandering whatever to kill. There's always another way you can think to do and find and fight. And I think that is what makes it so significantly more approachable in terms of like a game than any of the Dark Souls games, I think.
Yeah, I could not have said it better myself. I tried to a second ago and was not as eloquent.
Oh, well, the things you said led me to think the thing I said.
I'm not a public speaker, which, I mean, is unfortunate since we have a podcast.
Yeah, you do public speak quite literally a lot.
Well.
So, that being said, we were going to make 3 points and discuss them. I forgot what the first thing we were going to talk about is, and I don't care anymore. We talked about the mechanics and the combat, and the difficulty curve, or the difficulty and how it feels, and just generally the style and feel of the game. And I think that's more than enough for us to break down our individual personal thoughts and give this game a rating. What do you say?
All right, let's do it.
My love, would you like to go first?
For Elden Ring, 1 out of 10. So far, I think I would give it an 8.
Ooh.
So it's not my favorite game of all time, but if Jak and Daxter were similar to Elden Ring, that would be wild. However, it is a very good game to play. I recommend it. It's got creatures you can explore. It's got creatures, but it's got a really interesting and really unique monsters to battle. All of the bosses are also very unique. You won't see them anywhere else. The aesthetic of the game is very pleasing, especially if you like fantastical things, if you like being that hero, that warrior, adventurer, if you will. It's very good. I will probably continue playing it and would recommend it to other people. It was really fun.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because it would otherwise make my review seem real biased, and it is.
Well, last time we did talk about Bloodborne, that's what happened. I am also interested in finding out more about the a little bit of the lore of Elden Ring, which I was only slightly interested in Bloodborne and Dark Souls. I mean, it sounded very dark and very cool and gritty and interesting in that way, but this one has a few specific people, actually, that I would be interested in learning more about, and hopefully, throughout the game, there is pieces, scrolls or books or something that I can talk to, something that will inform me of these people. Otherwise, after maybe I beat the game or I give up on it, who knows. I get very distracted very easily and very quickly. But I can look it up and learn more about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah. At the very least, you'll be able to see me find those things.
Yes.
But yeah, so obviously, biases out in the open. This is one of my favorite series of games I've ever played. And I did not want to like them when I first started playing. I genuinely did not. But something about it just really is a natural fit for the kind of gaming that I do. And in terms of what appeals to me, this is 9 out of 10, just on that edge of 10. Like, I have to play a little bit more before I give it a 10 out of 10. But damn it, it's close. It is so close. It is a 9.5. So fucking good. And yeah, I have been known to enjoy a single player game, especially, and one that is so focused on making a character in a way that you feel is just right, like being able to build a character in a way that makes them exactly what you want. Like, I know what I want to build my character into. I want them to be big, meaty, two-hand, big sword. Every swing, for some reason, there's fire, and I know that I'll be able to do that, and I love that. So, in terms of the feel and the enjoyment, fucking 9.5 out of 10. The combat is exactly what I've always enjoyed. It's more of the same, but every single time is always something I want to go back to. That's why I have 7 other Souls-like games in my library of games, some of which are also some of my favorites. So yeah, I strongly recommend this game to anyone who, first of all, enjoys FromSoft games. This is one of their best for sure. And also just anyone who enjoys a single player focused action adventure.
Yes. You can play with other online folks. Yeah.
There are ways to cooperate with other people to enter their game instance and help them out with bosses and things like that. But it's not focused on that. It's not, walk around their open world with them and help them with every scenario, get on Discord and chat it out. It's, hey, buddy, I'm having trouble with this boss. Have you beat it yet? Yeah, let's. Can you help me out? And don't get me wrong, that is wonderful. That definitely builds a sense of oh, thank God, thank you so much. The few times that I've played some of the Dark Souls games with PlayStation Network, so that I can actually get help. Whenever an actual random stranger enters and helps me with the boss that I've lost to so many times that I'm actually asking an internet stranger for help, it has felt so oh my God, thank you. Thank you. I don't know, Pineapple Fucker 69.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it makes for a really, satisfying experience to get that cooperation from other people. Don't get me wrong, though. There is also just people will teleport into your game and attack you for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I play offline.
Yeah. There's a downside to everything, guys.
Yeah. And jumping back really quick to what you said about you can build whatever character you like. Elden Ring, even though I gave it an 8, and Ollie gives it a 9.5, almost a 10, he's talking about skill sets and the physical build and physical talents of this character, not the looks. I would potentially give the game an 8.5 if the character creator was a little bit different. I was born and built to make characters. I love games where you get to make your own character. Elden Ring makes it seem like there's a lot of things you can do to design your character, but it's somehow limited. Your character's always going to be a little ugly, which I think is just a classic Bloodborne, Dark Souls kind of games. It's also, Skyrim. You can never have a attractive character, but there, it's limited in a lot of the facial features, or if you want, like, I had trouble figuring out how to make my mouth and jaw look normal without squishing my nose. It was very difficult. So there's, limitations there, and in the skin color, and in, weirdly enough, in the, race of people. It's a little limited, but I just wanted to put that in there really quick, because I know we didn't mention it.
Yeah, that's fair. The thing is, with Dark Soul, with From Software games, character creation has always been so fucking abysmal that I've never cared. Like, I think my last Bloodborne game that I played, my character was this almost green skin, bug-eyed, like, their nose was thin as a sheet of paper, like, just truly hideous. Because From Software. I'm being honest. So, like, I never really thought too much about it, but I made my character pretty tan, just because I like the look of it.
You are pretty tan.
I am pretty tan. I think it was around maybe a little darker than my skin color. The thing is, though, when I take off his helmet, he's your character's skin color, and her character
is very pale. Well, no.
No, your character's gray.
I changed it, yeah.
She went before it was like...
It was Draconian, the Draconian, the dragon, people.
Which, the idea that they're gray because potentially they've been burnt does not rub the best way.
Yeah. After you get through very Nordic people, potentially Asian folk, very ambiguous, and then more white folks, you get to Draconian, which is gray, and then Night folk is gray. Draconian is absolutely black.
Yes.
Like midnight black. Like as black as my sweater.
Yep. And which is already kind of
yeah, it's a little weird.
And then there's the Newmen, which are just old people.
They're just old people, which is weird.
Very weird. Yeah.
Because you can also change the age of your character.
We need to make a Newman character and just make them older. See what happens.
I don't know if you can.
But yeah, no, character creation is very limited. And for some reason, it turned my kind of darker than tan character into your weird gray character skin color. And I don't know how or why. Part of me is wondering if, because in other Souls games, and number 2 specifically, the more you die, the more like a zombie you look. And I'm wondering, because you're called a tarnished in this game, if the more you die, the more tarnished your skin looks.
Potentially.
Which, not loving that. But it makes enough sense.
Yeah. Or they just messed up.
Or they just fucked up.
Because the character creator is not great.
Yeah. Never.
It's better.
Oh, yeah.
It's better than Dark Souls and Bloodborne. But could be even better.
Listen, saying it's better than Dark Souls and Bloodborne is not... You're not putting a bar anywhere. Yeah. You're putting a bar somewhere you can step over it.
Yeah.
But it is better. You're right. My character isn't completely hideous.
Yeah.
Just a little. Yeah, that is, I think, everything.
That's everything.
Play the game. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be putting out a playthrough of the game because some of my friends asked me to, and honestly, I'm gonna play the game anyways. Might as well. So.
Super enthusiastic.
I love this game, and I'm gonna make a playthrough of it. Enjoy, everybody. See you next time.